Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we are breaking down a tank tier list. Now overall, the first thing we want to look at, guys, is of course the brand new tank, which is Guineas. So overall, guys, he is a tanking hero. I did not put him in the wish list because he is roughly, 2 days in at this point. We're going to have to see exactly where he falls. He is showing up in the current cursed realm, but he is not in the Nightmare Corridor as of yet. And we also have to see where and if he works into that treasure scramble. So I did not include him at the current tier list. But today, like I said, we're going to break down this tanking class, guys, really show you the heroes to build within this tanking class. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. All right, guys, so here is the tier list for our tanking class. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break it down and tell you exactly why they're kind of placed in the tiers that I put them into. Now, starting in the top left with the top tier is Mishka. Mishka, of course, provides an incredible amount of crowd control, has a lot of shielding, does a lot within the teams, has several team buffs in there to allow their survivability with the combination of the crowd control. Also with the wolves, you can get multiple crowd controls off as the wolves do die. Looking at the second one, it is Grez, guys. He is still one of the top tier tanks. Not only for the damage aspect in a lot of formations, also in formations with Scarlet, he can actually mitigate through his summoning of minions a lot of the bolts that she does cast in there. Overall, really big distraction, really big magic mitigation. So the magical damage he can actually nullify, still used in an incredible amount of content in a lot of different game modes. Still, Grez Ulna works very, very well. Now looking at Damon, he's a solid tank in the Greyborn. He is actually a hero early game, mid game, end game, even late game, guys. Damon is still being used. The reason is he has the ability to scale within the game. He does not cap on the scaling. So as the enemies do get a lot stronger, he will get a lot stronger. Now, of course, game modes where it is just even level 360, not a real big player in there, but when it comes to campaign formations and things of that nature, he does work incredibly well. Then we have Atheel, which is the Chad. Again, survivability, crowd control with him. Also provides a lot of buffs for the team. Have some attack rating buffs in there, which makes him very viable when it comes to the Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor, Twisted Realm. Even the PvP aspect, guys, he is a really, really solid hero to build. Then we have Kanisa and Rook. Kanisa and Rook, of course, PvP aspect, huge because they have crowd control. They have the energy disintegration. Also have a lot of crowd control and survivability, which makes them an ideal build. Again, utility across a lot of different game modes is what we look for, guys. And then we have Albedo. Albedo, of course, is the strongest buffer when it comes to the dimensional heroes. She buffs up not only the attack, but the defense rating. Also has an immunity. Now, if a lot of the tanks do not have an immunity, it really doesn't work very well. We see a lot of the tanks, when you start getting into the higher level deficiencies, they absolutely just get crushed in higher level deficiencies, which means the immunity plays a really big part, which again, looking at Guineas, we're going to have to see he has damage mitigation, but he does not possess an immunity in there. Now going on down the tier list, guys, nice to have Arthur. Arthur is still a hero, guys, that is relatively cheap to get out of the store, but having him can work himself into a lot of different formations because the aura is going to perform or give you a normal attack boost. When we see it on Raku, when we see it on a bunch of different heroes, Arthur can still provide a lot of buffs. Also has some pretty good survivability when it comes to the tanking class. Then we have Hodgkin. Hodgkin, of course, not really much utilization as a tank, but he does bring a lot of buffs to the team, which is exactly why players use him. In a lot of different game modes, he is a buffer with the Black Flag ability, and then he also provides a lot of crowd control with the ultimate ability to go ahead and set him up as a perfect tank. That is more of a support tank than a real tank, which is the same that we see right here with Edwin, guys. We see Edwin as a lot of the buffing tank. He does have an immunity in there. Again, if you do build him up, works pretty much as a buffer in a lot of different formations. And in the Greyborns themselves, they have a lot of tanks within that faction itself, which do work incredibly well. And the same with Brutus, guys. Brutus, of course, one of the original heroes in AFK Arena, still has the immunity shield. Again, a lot of formations, we are still seeing Brutus. And the big thing with this, guys, is when it comes to level deficiencies, the tanks that possess the immunity can still outweigh the level deficiencies because essentially when they get burst damage, they just go immune versus just toppling over like we see with a lot of different tanks. Looking at the next one is the niche formation, guys. Now we have Scrag with the invade comp. Scrag really makes the invade comp with the energy, with the damage reduction, with also the attack rating boost. When it comes to invading, it is really Scrag. If you do not have Scrag within the formation, the viability or the utility of it goes down dramatically. Then we have Thorin, guys, which of course is the Thorin cheese, probably one of the niche formations that we've seen within AFK Arena. Still does work incredibly well regardless of the level deficiency, as long as you're not power capped on that stage. Then we have Sonya, guys. Building Sonya out again, it still has quite a bit of utility in the treasure scramble because of the damage mitigation that she can do, but she also does some random stuff in game modes. A lot of players using her within the Temporal Rift as a buffer. Really, again, kind of a niche formation, which is the same with Granite. Granite with that plus 30 signature item, providing the petrification to the whole enemy team. If you've ever run Lucretia with Granite, makes a really, really big game changer, guys. Lucretia can burn through an incredible amount of heroes when they are petrified from Granite, literally just dying in formations. You do not want to build him out to the point that he is going to live or survive. He is a tank that dies for the petrification based on that plus 30 signature item. Now, when we get into Orthos, Orthos, of course, ran with the original version of Taylene. Now Orthos is actually running with Matria. So really kind of a dynamic shift there, which means the original version of Taylene, not a lot of utility, but overall, guys, when Orthos has the furniture, when he ults, the highest combat rating, the highest attack rating will still move, which is the reason why you can amplify the damage. Not only that, is he does provide a considerable amount of crowd control when it comes to formations. As long as he can stay up survivability wise, he can make a big difference in formations. Now, as we get a little bit further down, guys, we have the tower heroes only. There are some tanks that are specifically for the tower. Even looking here, guys, we have Oku, very strong in the tower, but outside of the tower, no utility at all within formations. We don't really see him used anywhere any longer. He was very, very short-lived. Overall, costs a lot to build him out to actually have the utility to work in there, but with the limited heroes within the tower, it will work. Same thing we see with Hendrik. Hendrik used to, again, have a lot of utility in the Hendrik Gwen combo. Also seen it with the Awakened version of Thane. At this point, I believe he's kind of sidelined. We've seen Sonya in there. We also seen Hendrik in that formation. But as of now, it seems like they're kind of sidelined for both of those formations. Even within the Treasure Scramble, which was the last area they were kind of hanging on, it seems like at this point they're not being utilized, which is the same with the Awakened version of Taylene. Works incredible within the Celestial Tower. Outside of the tower, really not much utility whatsoever. With her being the first Awakened hero, the power creep has kind of overtaken her, meaning the utility for her is not there. And the same with Gorvo, guys. Gorvo, of course, within the tower provides an AoE stun plus a shielding aspect, which makes him super, super high utility within the Wilder Tower itself, just for the crowd control aspect that we do see in there. And then, of course, we have the what tank. That is right, guys. There is a whole demographic of tanks down here that really don't see any play whatsoever. We have a Noki in here again. Could use him in the tower. I don't at this point, just because we have so many other heroes to really put in there. Looking at Mizoth, Mizoth is a hero that a lot of players haven't built. Even a lot of players that have him built, I don't see the utility with him anymore. Same with this little tank right here, which I'm drawing a blank on the name. Nobody ever used him. He was kind of like the wall. But overall, again, not a lot of utility in there. Same with Lucius. Lucius has got to the point, guys, outside of possibly running him in the tower, but even in my formations, there are a lot of other heroes that I run within the Light Bearers that would not include Lucius. I don't even have him in formations anymore. Then, of course, guys, sorry to say, it is Almas. Almas, again, not really a lot of utility within there. And I think I might have forgot Cirrus in here. I think that was one tank, guys, that I might have forgot. But Cirrus goes right in with Almas, guys. Falls right into formation. That really what tank doesn't really have much utility, even in the towers, guys. Not a lot. And then we do also have Torn. Torn worked for a while with Muriel. Now, again, looking at the formation, utility-wise, not used anywhere that I am aware of at this point, not any game modes. Even the tower, not super effective in the tower because you don't have more reel to pull everyone together. Again, requires quite a build out to even have the ability to somewhat work in any avenue. But overall, guys, not really worth the investment on this bottom line really at all with this point of AFK Arena. All right, guys, so that'll do it for the breakdown for the tanks. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I was thinking of doing this for every single specific class, so you can kind of see breaking down the tier list a little bit, just because I know for a lot of players, especially new to AFK Arena, the tier list can be overwhelming when there's so much content on there. So again, let me know what you guys think of it. I'm going to have to figure out exactly where Guineas goes at this point. I'm thinking it is going to be either niche or top tier at this point. Again, we have to see where he's going to fit into because he just has a lot of crowd control, but also has the mitigation, which means higher level deficiencies is probably not going to work. But when it comes to the Nightmare Corridor and other game modes, we have to see the viability of if he is going to work with those game modes. So again, guys, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.